Pokemon Go has been helping me get off my butt. It motivates me to exercise, and has also been forcing me out of my comfort zone to help me deal with my anxiety. It's great. I actually got up the courage to go to a local park late last night. It's a very safe place in a very safe town, which is a hotspot for trainers, and I was determined to talk to people. I ended up walking a lot to replenish my Pokeballs, and I sat down to rest in a gazebo and evolve some Pokemon I caught. I tried to chat up a few people, and there was one guy who was there smoking a bowl, so he was very chatty, which was great because it makes the conversation easier. So I found my confidence growing as both of us talked, and I found myself growing bolder and feeling happier that I was socializing. Then I tried to leave. He followed me. He kept following me. He proceeded to ask personal questions, most of which I chose not to answer. But he kept finding more and more personal questions to ask. I just brushed him off and said that I'd rather not answer. Then he kept making offhand comments about how pretty I was and how he was so lucky to be walking around with such a gorgeous girl. I kept trying to tell him that I didn't feel comfortable with those comments, and he just said I shouldn't argue when someone calls me beautiful, and I have low self-esteem because I won't accept it, etc., etc. When other trainers would try to approach me, he kept kind of scaring them off by saying odd things and drove away anyone else who would try to talk. I'll skip even more details to get to the end. When I finally steered the conversation towards, "Hey, I gotta go now," and walked towards my car, he followed me to my car. He saw a child's car seat inside and asked if I had a child, and a baby daddy and all that. Then he asked for a ride to the store to get tea, and then back to his house. He then asked to see my Pokemon before I left to see my progress for the night, or something, and I allowed him to hold my phone. He got out of the app and added his number in my contacts, and called himself so he could have my number. Basically, when I got home, I was in tears, and now I don't even want to go back to the park anymore, because I'm afraid he will be there and try to approach me again. He wasn't dangerous, but I just felt so sick and uncomfortable about the whole thing, and I hate that anxiety makes me so timid when confronting people. I hate it. I don't know anyone else I can go with to the park, because, well, I don't have friends, if I'm being honest, so it's not like I can go with anyone else. But now I want to cry because I don't want to see that guy again. I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to make friends. Now I'm anxious all over again and feel like I'm back at square one. I'm so angry at myself. I hate this. Edit. Just realized that I had $150+ missing from my wallet. He robbed me, and I didn't even realize it until now. FML. I just want to give a humble thank you to everyone who gave positive, encouraging words after I posted. I actually ended up deleting his number in fear the morning after, before I realized I had been robbed. So, unfortunately, I no longer have his number. After I realized I had been robbed, I confided to a close family member, Chino, about what happened. He's a large, intimidating looking guy with various tattoos and 2-inch holes in each of his ears. He actually ended up going to the park that evening and confronting the guy. Stupid, I know, but I didn't know he was going to do it. The guy was still there, bumming cigarettes off of other friendly Pokemon Go players, until Chino lumbered up. At first, the guy denied everything and threw a livid fit, saying that I was flirting with him and all that. For the record, I wasn't. I was just being friendly. But Chino told him that he didn't give a shit, and that he wanted the money right then and there, or else he would call the cops. The guy started aggressively calling me every name in the book, but a couple of the other players actually started defending me, as I had briefly met and talked to them the night before. He eventually ended up giving Chino half of the money that was stolen. He admitted that he had spent the rest on weed and dope, obviously now exposed for what he was, and being met with unwelcome criticism from the people around him. The guy took off. I'll still end up filing a police report once I muster up enough courage to go down to the station. Besides, I actually know where the thief is squatting, so hopefully that leads to something. I don't know. The events of last night. Anyhow, I was almost out of Pokeballs last night, and I really wanted to get more. The best place to get them quickly? The park. I kept thinking about how people were telling me not to be discouraged, and not to let this bad experience ruin the whole thing for me. It took a while of psyching myself up, but I eventually decided to go again. I stayed far away from the spot where the thief was often seen hanging out, the park gazebo, and instead opted to stay away and get the other stops. Eventually, though, I wandered closer just to check and see if he was still hanging around. There were 2 people at the picnic table, next to the gazebo, and I quietly asked if anyone else was in the gazebo. They replied with, "I don't think so, no." Then suddenly asked, "Why? Are you okay? Is something wrong?" Which shocked me. I ended up quickly explaining that I was pickpocketed, and followed by a man who was seen hanging around in there. And without another word, these 2 guys got up, walked into the gazebo, lit up their phones, and quickly searched the gazebo to make sure that he wasn't in there. He wasn't. They told me as much and went back to what they were doing as I sat down, thanking them profusely. They told me to be careful and stay safe, and not to be afraid to approach someone if I feel scared or threatened, which again shocked me. I was so happy. I ended up spending the rest of the evening with a couple of local high school kids. It felt a little strange because of the age difference. I'm in my mid-20s while they were around 16 or 17, but I enjoyed walking and talking with them, and they stuck around until all of us left to go home around midnight. I learned a hard lesson, but I feel encouraged and reinvigorated now. Thank you to everyone who left kind words on my last tale of folly. I'll be looking for pepper spray now, as well as trying to be more firm with my boundaries and letting people know when I'm uncomfortable with something. I will also be more willing to ask for help now. Seriously. The responses and kindness of the 2 guys who searched the gazebo before I went in was, well, I almost cried. I honestly never thought that people would be so caring and kind. So here are some tips for you all who may be like me. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to tell someone to go away. It's okay to ask for help. Do not hesitate. Trust your gut. Seriously. I will work on getting better too. I was conditioned to be polite and have a forced habit of not speaking out, even in bad situations. So this is a learning experience for me, and I hope that I will be able to practice what I preach. I can't thank all of you enough for your words of encouragement. Thanks to you, I will be continuing my journey to catch them all, now equipped with my new knowledge that a lot of fellow trainers are kind and willing to lend a hand when you're in need. Thank you. Smiley face. Thanks for watching, guys. Huh? What the hell are you doing? Master, please. I didn't mean to offend you. Get back to work. Yes, Master, of course. Yes, of course. Yes.